evening, you're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. The campaign Me Too is knocking hard on Bollywood's door, and for the first time, it is making a massive impact. Many right now in Bollywood being made or forced to take a stand. Let's take you through 3 accounts that have outed director Sajid Khan. Account 1, Saloni Chopra, an actor who was an assistant to Sajid Khan. She says, Sajid asked me if I masturbated in my job interview. He once asked a girl to lift up her skirt and show him her ass. He told me he wanted me to be his little bitch and do his bidding. He said I was foolish to think casting couch was just about one-time sex. He used to body shame me and say I wasn't attractive enough to be an actor. He tried to put my hand on his penis to show me that I did not give him a boner. This is Saloni Chopra, who worked as an assistant director under Sajid Khan, and she outed him yesterday in a blog online. Let's take you now to the second account on Sajid Khan, Karishma Upadhyay. She says she's a journalist who interviewed Sajid on a few occasions, and she says Sajid kept talking about his penis and how he knew how to satisfy a woman. He walked out of the room only to return with his pants down and his penis out. When I tried to leave, he blocked my way and forced his tongue down my throat. Let's get you the third account now, Rachel White, who's an actor. She says, Sajid asked me to strip for him so that he could figure out a bikini scene. He commented on my breasts and tried to strike an inappropriate conversation. He said, if I could seduce him in 5 minutes, the role would be mine. 3 accounts, but there's a flood, in fact, online. Accounts on Sajid Khan and a few other actors. We're just giving you on what accounts that have come out, which are verified. These 3 women clearly elucidating how they were sexually assaulted, harassed by director Sajid Khan, which in fact has now led to a flurry of reactions in Bollywood. For the first time, mind you, we've seen tangible action in terms of Bollywood finally speaking up. Farah Khan, Sajid Khan's sister, has said, don't endorse Sajid's behavior. Stand with any woman who has been hurt. This is a part of what she put out on Twitter. Akshay Kumar, who in fact is the lead star of Sajid Khan's film Houseful, has said, I have requested producers to cancel Houseful 4. Twinkle Khanna has said, everyone involved in Houseful needs to take a firm stand. Farhan Akhtar, who is apparently a friend of Sajid Khan, has said, I am shocked, disappointed and heartbroken to read about Sajid's behavior. So what we're going to do right now is cut across, because there have been so many reactions that's coming in. There's been one woman who's been a journalist who's seen Bollywood through decades. I have with me journalist Shobha De. She's joining us from Mumbai. Shobha, do you finally see some tangible action as someone who's covered this industry for decades now? Finally, people are forced to take a stand. They used to never say anything at one time.
I don't know how tangible this is. I'm just hoping, I'm not being cynical, but I hope these are all very sincere moves that will lead to a very major cleanup. What we're seeing should not be just symbolism coming from a few top stars finally who have entered into the debate and are taking positions. But for example, the 2 big Khans are still missing out of this whole discussion. Aamir has said he will disassociate himself from Mughal, which was the first big step, which showed that he was serious. They've dropped people from Mami and so on, which is all great and wonderful. But the scandal itself is nothing that is new. It's been in the industry for the longest time. Whether it's a Sajid Khan, these are actually, he's not a big fry in that sense. I'm hoping that it will lead to something where they are going to be able to nail some of the bigger perpetrators of sexual assaults, which have been going on for decades in the film industry, and nobody has acknowledged it. It's been a dirty secret, but clearly no longer a secret.
So Shobha, you're saying there are bigger fish that need to be caught. This is just the tip of the iceberg. A Sajid Khan is a dispensable name, can be the fall guy. Why there are bigger sexual predators at large in Bollywood where nobody has the guts to call out?
I'm not sure at all. I have a feeling there are going to be a couple of fall guys, and really the big monsters will stay behind a whole wall of protection, because everybody will stand together, because there's just so much money riding on big productions, big stars. I don't think anybody will have the guts to actually name any of the bigger stars. And we do know, I mean, those of us who have monitored Bollywood do know that they are not angels themselves. The corruption starts at the lowest level, goes up right all the way to the top, and a unit that in a way conveys that it's all okay for old practices to continue, well, that unit is also part of the cover-up. Everybody knows, from the spot boy onwards, everybody knows who the perpetrators are, and there are very few who have not been perpetrators, let me tell you that.
But Shobha, usually we've seen men, actors, men have a large appetite for being publicly shamed, but this is the first time possibly. We don't know if an Akshay Kumar will follow through with his action, but we've seen Aamir Khan opt out of a film because of it. First time where money is concerned, films are concerned, being taken away from sexual predators. Do you not think at least this is heartening?
Most definitely, when it starts hurting, where it hurts the most, where careers start to topple, yes, but the careers that have toppled so far are not really key or crucial to the industry hanging in there. They don't have crores and crores riding on them. Yes, they're minor players of maybe in the second league. They're not the A-listers. They're not the biggies. So when a biggie really comes into the picture, then we'll be talking seriously. Till then, it's going to be the Sajits and the Rajats, and well, Subhash Ghai has very dismissively said, oh, it's becoming a trend. It's trendy to talk about and malign people. Now, to dismiss off something like this as being trendy, really, I mean, the film industry needs to be very careful about the words it uses, even to defend itself.
Shobha, stay on with me. I'm going to come right back to you because we're going to continue this conversation. The reason I'm just taking a quick break is because I have with me Shobha, and possibly I'll bring you in on this as well. Suparna Sharma. Suparna Sharma has been brave enough to call out her sexual predator, or her alleged sexual predator, MJ Akbar, while she was a journalist working under editor MJ Akbar at Asian Age. She's joining me live right now. Before I go to her, I just want to ask the producers to put out Suparna Sharma's account of what happened with her, what is her story. She says, while standing behind me, Akbar once plucked my bra strap. I was wearing a t-shirt once, and when I went to MJ's office, he stared at my breasts. Transgressions were routine and no one was spared. I don't think even Harvey Weinstein has hurt so many women as MJ Akbar. I want to cut across live to Suparna Sharma. Suparna, really appreciate, I think it's very brave for you to come out, talk to us on India Today. Appreciate for you to do so. I'll start over, Suparna, from that last line that I quoted of one of your tweets, and which is, I don't think even Harvey Weinstein has hurt so many women as MJ Akbar.
Hi. I tweeted that line, but that line is not mine. That line is from an article that Huffington Post has written today, and it's said by some other woman who's also quoted in the story and was sexually abused by MJ Akbar. So see, it's been about 100 hours or so since the first Priya Ramani kind of opened the floodgates, and there are already, I believe, 11 or 12 cases today in the Huffington Post, and a girl who was at that time 18 years old and was interning in the Asian Age. He grabbed her while she was leaving. You know, she had come to say goodbye to Akbar, and he grabbed her and smooched her. Akbar knew her parents. She was not from India. She was, I think, from the US. And this girl's father wrote to Akbar saying, I am a bit, I am appalled at what happened. And then there's Akbar's reply, which is quite classic. So in about 100 hours, 12 people, and he may just well be India's Harvey. Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me? Yes, Suparna, is there a problem with the audio? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I think I lost the, yeah, now I can, yes. I said he could very well be India's Harvey Weinstein.
Well, he could very well be India's Harvey Weinstein. Well, we would know if he would be brought down like Harvey Weinstein. It hasn't happened yet. But Suparna, would you recount your story? What happened with you?
What happened with me, there are two specific incidents. One was when I was working and he was standing behind me and he plucked my bra strap, and I kind of screamed in the sense in reaction and shock and kind of, what the hell. And so he stopped. Nothing else happened then. And later, much later, I was wearing a t-shirt. I had gone into his room. It said something, like t-shirt say some text or something. And I had gone, I went to his room for some work related thing, and he just looked straight at my breasts and said, kind of playing on whatever was written on the t-shirt. I really don't remember what it was, but it was extremely uncomfortable. I just kind of ignored it and went on to discuss whatever I had gone to discuss with him. But that's me. The other cases that have come up in these few days, a lot of them one had heard of. He had a kind of a modus operandi where he would call women to his hotel rooms. He would insist on cab rides. He would send them on assignment to another city where he was going to be. And so a lot of these accounts, though some of them are still anonymous, are very, very believable for me, because I saw this. We all, would at times discuss it.
Suparna, was it common knowledge in the newsroom that MJ Akbar was a sexual predator? Because a lot of accounts that have come out seem to suggest that everybody knew about it.
Yes, it was common knowledge that he preyed on women. He zeroed in, and the Asian Age launched in 1994. I started working with him in 1993 and I left in 1996. In this period, there were several editions that opened. There was a Delhi edition, there was a Bombay edition, there was a Calcutta edition, and I only know about specific cases in the Delhi office because that's where I was. But there were several cases that one heard of at that time or later from other offices. So it was like a fairly big network that Akbar had.
Suparna, what are you, because have you been able to talk to the other victims? Because there is a point of view which suggests that possibly the wheels of justice would only start turning once there's a legal process in place, which is lodging a complaint. Do you plan on doing that?
So today, early in the day, Sandhya Menon tweeted that she is going to write a complaint to NCW. And I responded saying, oh, that's great, so will I. But then someone kind of, I think Kanika Gehlot or someone said that I mean, why isn't someone taking suo motu notice of this and kind of initiating, you know, a probe and inquiry into it? And it says, so we tweeted all that and tagging Menka Gandhi, and since then she's announced this 4-panel kind of inquiry, a probe to look into these cases. I haven't read in great detail what this 4-judge retired judge panel will do, but from whatever I read, it seems like they will look at the cases, they will look at the test, whatever has been said on Twitter, in articles, and then say what can be done, because you know, some of the cases are anonymous, and I don't know whether these women will come out or they want to come out. So the few of us who are kind of out there in the you know, and talking about it, especially Ghazala Wahab, whose case is quite, you know, I mean, it's really traumatic. And now this intern who was 18 years old at that time. So these few names, so once they suggest what to do, I think, you know, after that maybe we can take a call. But this panel, I welcome it. I think, you know, great of Menka Gandhi. She was the first one to say something about this from the BJP government when everybody else was quiet. And now she's set up this panel. I mean, you know, great. I really welcome the move.
You know, I'll ask you, you know, 2 final questions, Suparna. The government hasn't said anything. Possibly, you know, indications suggest that they feel that it wasn't on their time. He was an editor earlier. Do you reckon that MJ Akbar now needs to step down? Do you think it will happen? Do you believe it will happen?
I don't know. One thing that I do believe in, that the Modi government doesn't really like to act under any kind of external pressure. That's kind of been the style of functioning of Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah. So I don't know what they will do under pressure, but morally, for a government that talks a lot about betis and, you know, beti bachao, I think this should not take you know, very long time for them to figure that this man really needs to go. He cannot be in the government.
Just one final word, Suparna, where this entire campaign, Me Too, is concerned. Because so much is also going on the sidelines on the kind of collateral it's causing, the bad which comes with the good, the you know, possible score settling on the sidelines. But you know, if we are seeing today tangible action, it's because of women like you. It's because of everyone who's come and outed their predators. Do you think for the first time it's made a difference? Calling out a sexual predator is making a difference?
You know, while I was driving today, I was reading of earlier cases, and there was the KPS Gill case. So I guess there have been precedent. There have been these women who've taken on powerful, strong men. So I guess we kind of, Priya Ramani in this case took the lead, and then Ghazala Wahab. And I think it has made a difference, even if Mr. Akbar stays on, if you know, Mr. Modi thinks that, you know, it's whatever, I mean, you know, he needs to stay on. Even then, I mean, the fact that he has been named and shamed, that it's all out there and more cases are coming. And I have a feeling that if nothing happens, even more cases will come, because there are many women who, if some of them I've spoken to, they're kind of teetering and wondering, kuch hoga to okay, fine. Agar nahi hoga to we'll also come up. So this is not going to end very soon for Mr. Akbar, I think.
You know, it's an interesting point, Suparna, you made there. Thank you for joining us, because there are a lot of women, like Suparna said, that possibly she also knows, she was in fact working in the same newsroom, who are waiting and watching that if action is not taken, then they will come out. Let's just hope what happens. MJ Akbar lands back in the country come Sunday. Let's just see what action the government takes. Will he be made to step down? Thank you, Suparna, for joining us. More power to you. Let's now cut across back to Shobha Day, and we have with us Flora Saini, who possibly is not a victim of the Me Too, doesn't possibly fall in that ambit of that campaign, but definitely today a victim of sexual assault and domestic abuse. Flora, appreciate you joining us. When you see what's unfolding around you, Flora, you lodged your complaint. a time ago. Nothing quite happened on the back of it. Today there is a movement that possibly supports you as well.
Yes. 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 And that is what gave me strength that night to, I was just reading all the other posts that were coming out, and I thought to myself, my God, 7 years with a battered face, and I'm still fighting a legal course. Nobody supported me. I was out of work. People refused to work with me. And today these women are here standing. I felt so proud. And also I think, earlier women have always spoken, but they've spoken in, as individuals at different times and on different incidents. This is the first time that all the women have gotten together and they are roaring. And speaking up against everybody who has ever let them down and made them feel small, because I feel the abuser forgets, but the abused has to live with it for a long time. And I think it's a beautiful time that we're seeing in India today. This is progress, because remember that whatever these strong educated women, whatever steps they are taking, they're inspiring a lot of men also who have gone through.
Flora, I'm just going to come in. I'm sorry, I'm coming in.
They're inspiring them.
Right. I really apologize, and the reason I'm doing so is that I'm running out of time, and I definitely want to bring in Simran Suri as well. She's come out now, leveled sexual harassment charges on Sajid Khan, so that takes the count now to 4. Actor Simran Suri accusing Sajid Khan of asking her to strip during the casting of the film Himmatwala. Simran, really appreciate you for joining us. It takes a lot of courage. More power to you. What's your story, Simran?
See, I'm only able to speak because all of you guys are supporting me, and I'll tell you the story. Sajid Khan himself called me, and I'm not sure from where he got my number, but he called me and he said, Simran, I'm casting for Himmatwala, so come to my office. And I got so excited and happy. I said, okay, I'll come. And when I went there, it was not his office, it was his house in Juhu. And when I went there, he was in his sando and shorts, and he was on the treadmill, and he said, Meri body dekhi. And I was like, I thought it's a professional meeting, what is he saying? And then after asking me a few questions, he said, Simran, strip for me. And I was taken aback. I said, what are you saying? He said, no, I am a director and I have to see your body. Without that, it's mandatory for me. And I saw his and Jacqueline's photo behind me hugging each other. I said, you have such a pretty girlfriend, why would you do that with girls? And he said, yeah, I have a girlfriend, so I'm only doing this as a director, because I'm a director, I have to see your body. Then he came a little ahead, he came to me, and with his finger he did this on my neck, and he said, show me your cleavage. And that's when I lost it, and I started abusing him, I started yelling at him, and he said, dheere bol, my mom is in another room. And I said, your mom is in another room and you're such a filthy man that you're bringing girls in another room and doing all this with the girls. And I shouted at him and I left from that place. And I think after a few hours he called me again, and I deleted his number by that time. So he said, hi Simran. I said, who? He said, Sajid. I said, yeah, why have you called me? He said, you deleted my number. If we have to work together, then we have to know each other more. And then I abused him. I said, you don't call me ever again. This is the last time I'm taking your call. And then I disconnected the call. That was the last time he called.
And then definitely you didn't get the part, did you? Because Simran, can you hear me? Simran, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So Simran, you didn't get the part clearly because you resisted his sexual advances.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Did you lodge a complaint? Did you take it up at all?
See, because I am from the industry itself, and around that time, if anyone would speak, nobody would hear. And I didn't know that people will talk about Sajid, but even yesterday when I didn't know anything about this happening, even yesterday I was speaking to a friend. I said, now that this Me Too movement is happening, I really want to talk about this man, and I really want to slap him in public because I have so much anger against him from the last 5-6 years. And then in the morning I saw Rachel White's post, who's a friend of mine, and that gave me the courage.
Have you noticed, Simran, all of you have the same story?
This, and if I will not speak today, I will never be able to speak. Yeah, when I saw her post, she wrote that that he asked her also to strip, but I don't know if it happened around the same time. But yeah, I think and a lot of other people have told me the stories that he always keeps a bikini in his office and he asks the girls to wear that and show the body. So it's not just 4 of us. I'm pretty sure there are like 10,000 girls in Mumbai who have faced this.
Thank you for joining us, Simran. It's extremely brave, and we hope to carry your voice forward. The allegations that you have made follow through, and there's actual implication, impact. Already, Sajid Khan has stepped down from directing the film Houseful. We're going to keep tracking the story. More power to you, Simran. Thank you there. Up next is sports. Stay with us.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.